Hello there, it's your friendly neighborhood communications professor. Neighborhood, I guess, if your neighborhood is the entire internet, right? I don't think that's what the Amazing Neighborhood Spider-Man was, but anyway. It's me again. Remember me? Hi. I am your professor for public speaking. I wanted to do another one of those quick tips, and one of the subjects we're talking about this week is ethics. And some people, when I bring the subject up, say, well, it's kind of weird that we're talking about ethics. Well, no, not really. Ethics is a vital part of communication. It's a vital part of public speaking, just like when you are writing an essay for school, for a class, you need to cite your sources, because unless you came up with the idea, you need to give credit where credit is due. That same rule applies in public speaking. And you actually want to use as many different sources to support what you're saying as you can possibly find. But in doing that, you need to cite those sources. You need to give credit where credit is due. And we'll talk about that in the text, and you'll see some examples going forward of how to do that. It's not like in an essay where at the end you have your works cited page and you put all your stuff, and then you have your citations in the essay. In the speech, you actually have to mention it. So if you're using a study from the USDA, according to the USDA's website from March 12th of 2020, in an article about whatever you're talking about, it says, and then you present your information. You need to do that. Otherwise, you're guilty of plagiarism, just like you would be in an essay if you used information and didn't cite your sources. And when you're using information and not citing it and people know it, it hurts your credibility, and it hurts it tremendously. And as a speaker, that's the last thing you want to have happen, is your credibility go down the tubes. So you want to make sure that you cite your sources. What I wanted to do in this quick tip is show you an example. These things happen in real life all the time, and people get caught. And I've got two good examples, but I'm only going to show you one here. The example that I'm going to show you is from 2016, actually 2015, 2016, during the presidential election. And during the Republican National Convention, Melania Trump was a keynote speaker. And so she came out and she gave her speech. And of course, people are watching it around the country, and there's always Twitter feeds going on, right? And there's a guy watching this, and he's talking on Twitter at the same time. And not too far into the speech, he realizes this sounds really familiar. And so he keeps listening, and it dawns on him, it sounds familiar because he wrote the speech. And it turns out that he wrote the speech for Michelle Obama in 2008, when she spoke at the Democratic National Convention as a keynote speaker. He was her speechwriter at the time, and he wrote a speech, and then she gave the basic core of that speech in 2008 to the Democratic National Convention. And he's sitting here watching Melania Trump in 2016 giving this speech, and he's realizing that huge parts of it are directly pulled from the Michelle Obama speech. So he starts tweeting about it. And of course, it went viral instantly. And it became a big topic of conversation during the election. The very next day, all the morning news shows were talking about it. One of them had Governor Chris Christie, who was the sitting governor of New Jersey at the time, on, and he was a big supporter of the Trump organization. And he said, oh no, it's not plagiarism. She just had a lot of the same feelings about the topic she's talking about that Michelle Obama did. And it's just a coincidence that it sounds similar. Well, somebody cleverly put together a mashup of some of the sections of Melania Trump's speech and some of the sections of the same area in Michelle Obama's speech 8 years earlier. And you can watch as the two sections go across, the words that they're saying pop up, and the highlighted words are the ones that are the same between both speeches. So watch this and see whether or not you think this sounds like it could be plagiarism, because she does not ever cite Michelle. She could have just easily said, You know, as Michelle Obama said 8 years ago in her keynote address, now she's given credit, right? But she didn't do that. So watch this and see if this doesn't sound a lot like plagiarism.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values, like you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They taught and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
And Barack and I set out to build lives guided by these values and to pass them on to the next generation, because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Those are amazingly similar speeches, and whole sections of it are word for word. And it caused a lot of controversy at the time. And of course, it hurt credibility for Melania Trump at the time, because it did appear that she had pulled Michelle Obama's speech and used large portions of it. And the guy who wrote the speech could tell it. And one of the traits about speechwriters, the phrasing that they use and the way they put words together is sort of like a thumbprint. And each speechwriter has ways of doing it. And both speeches have sort of the same imprint on them. So it's a pretty clear example where someone used someone else's speech and basically plagiarized it. Now you would think, okay, this doesn't happen that often. The other example, and I'm not going to show it in this particular quick tip, but I'll tell you, you can find it on the internet. You can find it on YouTube. In 2019, a high school, I think it was Patricksburg High School, had their commencement outside in their football area. And the principal gave the commencement speech at that graduation. And he gave a speech, and somebody had the bright idea to record the speech. So they recorded it. And then later on, they were watching it and they realized it sounded incredibly familiar to a speech done in 2014 by Ashton Kutcher, when the actor, when he received a Teen Choice Award on television. He got up and gave a speech. And when we have special occasion speeches, if you look up great special occasion speeches on YouTube, this Ashton Kutcher speech comes up as one of the great ones. And it really is. It's an award acceptance speech, and it's fantastic. It follows all of the examples we talk about. He got up and gave this speech. And when you go back and look at this Patricksburg High School principal giving his speech with some slight modifications, he's giving Ashton Kutcher's speech to these kids when they're graduating high school. Now, you would think a principal of a high school would know better than to take a speech. Yeah, it's what, 6 years later after Ashton Kutcher has done his speech. You would think he would know better than to plagiarize a speech. And you can, like I said, you can look it up. The whole speech is on YouTube. There is a mashup of the high school principal talking and then Ashton Kutcher talking, just like this one was. And when you watch it, you think, my God, this really does seem like plagiarism. And apparently afterwards, some people brought this up to the school board in Patricksburg, And after reviewing it, the school board agreed, and that principal lost his job. So this concept of ethics is very important. People have lost their jobs for stealing either parts or whole sections of speeches and using them in their own without giving credit due. So that's why we always focus on ethics in public speaking. We actually focus on ethics in every communication class we teach. But that's why it's such an important part of public speaking. Your credibility is everything as a speaker. And if you're unethical, you lose your credibility. So that's it for the quick tip today. Like I said, in the live session, I will schedule another live session next week, and we'll get together and talk a little bit longer about a particular topic next week. And I will probably put up another quick tip this week as well. But have a great week. I look forward to your speeches. I'll see you later.